Hello. We thought that we'd give you a little extra something this week and are happy to release the Q&A session for Picturing the Past. We hope that you enjoy it, and if you want more Q&A sessions as well as blooper reels, ad-free episodes and more, please head over to patreon.com/Theatrephonic and support us. Thank you and enjoy. Lovely. Welcome to the Q&A sessions, the Picturing the Past edition. I have with me today Jasmine Raymond, who plays Imogen. Say hello.
Hello.
Chloe Wade, who plays Ruth and Sylvia.
Hello.
And Gareth Turkington, who plays Hugo.
Hello.
And I play Amy, so I might join in on some of the questions this time as well. So if I just do a go around so you can just kind of introduce yourselves to everyone. As you're on my top left, Chloe, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So, don't know if you can tell by my northern twang, but I am originally a Huddersfield lass. I've been down in London since I graduated drama school, which is in 2012. Honorary Londoner now. I am an actor and a writer. So I graduated from the International School of Screen Acting. Everything there was catered towards acting for film, acting for TV, which I absolutely love. But one of the great things they did on that course was encourage you to go into every side of the industry. So if you weren't filming, you would be filming like your fellow peers. You'd be doing the boom, you'd be doing the editing, you'd do writing. We wrote our own graduation pieces. So that's really helped me since. And I just discovered this love of writing that happily goes alongside my acting, which is something that I didn't think I'd find another love for. So what can I tell you? Just recently got into audio and doing voiceovers. It's something that I want to do more of. Over Christmas, I managed to get a radio monologue for the BBC. This is amazing opportunity as well. So voiceover is something that is my next thing that I would like to crack.
And if you fancy writing a radio play as well, then that would be perfect.
Exactly. Yeah, perfect. I'll send it your way, Emmy.
Please do, please do. Jasmine, you're next on my screen.
Yes, so I am based in London and from London. Yeah.
That's it. That's all you need to know.
That's all I am. So I'm a London-based actress. I actually graduated from Arts Ed at the beginning of the year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I did my MA acting. So yeah, that was grand. And from there, they did. We got a company came out called Fancy Another, and we'd managed to do our first kind of big performance at the Cockpit Theatre with our show Shaping Dust, which managed to raise £700 for the Alzheimer's Society. So that was like my beginning of the year, like a woohoo. Last year now.
Yeah.
But hoping really for that, our company to kind of do more work this year is kind of the main goals. And yeah, me is also, I'm very new to radio dramas. I live for radio dramas. I'm a huge like murder mystery, Hercule Poirot fan. So I listen to it all the time, but I've not had a chance to get behind the mic before. So this was a very excited opportunity. So I'm very, very fortunate. Thank you so much, and Theatrephonics.
Yeah, I know I saw you in... Oh God, the name's gone from my head. Much Ado About Nothing, that's one. So I saw you in Much Ado About Nothing a few years ago now, and with Raynor Shah, and I was just like, I want to work with her at some point. She looks like a lot of fun. So when I was like, yes, let's get Jasmine involved.
I love it. I love to like slide into the DMs. I was like,
I did a proper cheeky sliding into the DMs. I think I contacted both because Chloe had contacted me shortly before. Were you recommended by someone to contact me?
Jeannie Dixon, yeah.
That was it, yeah. So Jeannie contacted me. Chloe contacted me after Jeannie told her to. And then around the same time, I sneakily slid into the DMs of both Gareth and Jasmine, just going, hey guys, do you fancy doing a play? And I'm very happy they both said yes.
Yeah.
So thank you. Leading on to Gareth, tell us about yourself.
Hello, I am from Belfast originally, but I am also an honorary Londoner because I've been here, because I'm considerably older than all of you, it seems, because you all graduated very recently. I graduated from drama school in the mists of time back in 2007 in London and stayed basically. They tried to get rid of me, but I'm persistent like mould. I dotted around London in various places, now based in Croydon. I am an actor and voice actor. Haven't had a lot of experience with radio plays. I've done a couple before. I think they're great fun. It's a fantastic medium. I've done sort of more video games and sort of corporate stuff before. And similar to Jasmine, I had a great start to 2020. It's like, 2020 is going to be my year. It's great. And I went to Hungary and started shooting for 6 weeks for an upcoming Netflix show. Wow. And we wrapped on the 21st of February, 28th of February, I tell a lie. So like a week before the world turned upside down. It's like, got in there just in time. And then obviously everything went from there. So 2020 was not quite the greatest, but it started well. So,
and you've got the Netflix coming out to kind of give it a boost now that...
April it's coming out, so that's exciting. Watch this space.
Congrats.
Yeah. I had a similar thing that I had, like, it was obviously not as big as your show, but I had a little Netflix bit.
Did you?
That came out at the end of 2019, and I was like, amazing, this is going to boost me into 2020.
Yeah.
It's going to be all over the place, excellent. On my show, I look great. And then everything shut down. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
That screwed that up.
And I don't think we're that much older than you, Gareth.
No.
No, because I first graduated in 20, I don't know, some year.
What is time anymore?
Yeah, earlier. So no, I don't. I think we're close.
We also feel similar. I think Chloe might be a little bit younger.
Yeah, do we all remember the 90s? That's the question.
Yes, well,
Marvellous.
at some part.
Whisper it, I even have memories of the 80s.
Oh, you old.
Back when I were a lad, Zoom was just something you did with a camera lens.
You could zoom on a camera lens. You had cameras.
Luxury.
You're so young, you had cameras. Okay, on to talking about the play itself. So this is something completely different. It's a completely different play to anything we've done on Theatrephonic before, which is kind of why I really liked it and really wanted to do it. I want to ask you guys, just because it might lessen my embarrassment. When you read the play, did you think that Hugo Westfield was real?
100% yes.
Yeah, I googled like so much.
Absolutely.
Like, it must be somewhere. He has to be real.
100%. I was like, I need to see this artwork. I need to see what inspired him. Let's have a look at these fishermen's cottages. Right. So let's have a look. And it was just so flabbergasted when I couldn't find him. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
It even sounds like an artist name as well, Westfield. Yeah. It's perfect.
Yeah. I was convinced that I'd heard the name before, and I really wanted to see Seek No Further. So I googled it. I was like, what? I have been cheated.
That was it.
So I emailed Barbara Jennings and just went, I can't believe you tricked me like that. I really wanted him to be real. But I think it just gives testament to actually how well it's written that
Absolutely.
it absolutely fooled us. She has such a good background to everybody, which is very frustrating. Not quite sure what questions to ask about this piece, really. I will go around and I'll kind of say, what did you do to kind of build on the character and stuff like that? Let's start with Gareth, because the play is about Hugo.
So first of all, when you first sort of mooted this to me, we talked about using my natural accent. And I was happy to go along with it, but as I was reading it, it didn't really sort of sit with me. And I found, as I said to you in an email, as we're sort of going through it, I found myself drifting into more an RP accent. And then you said that Barbara would prefer it. And obviously because of the socio-political times, someone in that position would have an RP accent regardless of where they are from. If you're an English speaker, you would have an RP accent, which made the character sit much better for me. Also, I'm a big nerd, so anything to do with historical stuff I find very interesting. The fact it's set around the time of First World War. And he has sort of a parallel life to Tolkien a little bit. The idea of like the loss of innocence because of World War One. Obviously, Hugo wasn't directly in the trenches, whereas Tolkien was. But it's that idea of, and what you're trying to say about, the Hugo pre-1916 and post-1916, it affected him, and of course, like, we can't ever imagine what it was like to be in a position where total war and you see the barbarity. And you're told in the media, dulce et decorum est pro patria more, etc. But then you are told these graphic stories about what the glory of war actually is. It's going to affect you. So I found that with Hugo, it's that interesting thing of like, paint these nice bucolic scenes because that's where you'll make money and it'll make Imogen happy and it's an easy life. But the fact that he never got rid of his war art, I think speaks volumes as to the character of what his real calling was.
Do you think he was ever satisfied in painting the things he did paint, or do you think he would have rather have had the chance to try and build on the wartime paintings he did?
I suppose it's one of those sliding door moments, isn't it? Humans are very adaptable, as we know from what happened in 2020, and is hopefully coming out of it now. You survive because you have to, and you find a way. You find the joy, and you find the life where you can. And so, yeah, perhaps there was a way that had he gone another way, would he have pushed into being Picasso-esque with Guernica and things like that? Would he have been able to do these brutal pieces of art? Would he have been afforded the position to do it, is the question, I suppose. Like, he made money from doing these scenes of the Suffolk coast. Would he have been able to make money from doing these very political pieces of art that would have enabled him to actually continue on with a career? Who knows? I think it's going to be one of those little sort of niggling bits at the back of his brain of like, he has a nice life. He has a loving family. He lives in a nice part of the world. He's making money doing what he likes to do. Can he ask for more? But then conversely, there is going to be that little niggle of what if, is this my calling? Is this what I was put on this earth to do? Because he talks about, his art as politics, and it's so devoid of politics by the end of it. But
yeah, so particularly if you think of the Dada movement, which is one of the things I studied at uni, is fascinating movement. But the Dada movement was very much politicised and was fighting back against the war and kind of just as a complete result of the war. And that there's clearly something that he wanted to, not necessarily actually Dada itself, but wanted to really look at that, kind of making his art do something good.
Yeah. But and then, I mean, as Imogen says, you're painting what people suffered for. And, all art serves a purpose. It's what makes us human, after all, is the appreciation of art. And okay, yeah, it's not making people think, God, isn't war awful? But it gives them something to strive for. It gives people reasons to get up in the morning. Is it less valid for that? Who knows?
Never. Art is never not valid. Unless it's horrible art, then you can then just get rid of it. Yeah. Bad pictures, like my pictures, get rid of them.
Just the gifts that you give away.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I think, the fact that he does paint the family and call it Seek No Further makes me think that actually he's found a place where he feels content and knows he's content. So
yeah,
I'd like to think he ended up
I like the conspiracy theory of the idea of seek no further, this Dan Brown idea of like the key is for behind the painting.
Yes.
That Sylvia's like, it's a clue. And it's like, when I first read that, I did ponder, like, I don't know, I think he has reached a sort of a level of, if not content, but sort of he's settled. He's like, do you know what? Yeah. I can't ask for better than this in my life right now. This is what
Which is
brings him
probably
joy.
maybe why it's also it's like a double-sided, because it's like seek no further because it's contentment, and also seek no further of what is behind this door. Like the idea of there is a key, but I've already found it in this picture. You don't need to open it, which we did with the latch and the hand.
So you just broke all the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say, like from Hugo's point of view, Imogen is shady, getting rid of all my artwork, burning it. Unbelievable.
We can say the same to you. You told us you're getting rid of that artwork.
Listen. Some things, you just have to hold on to, It's like cutting off a limb.
Speaking of Imogen, Jasmine, how did you do anything to try to get into her character? Was it just natural?
I think, mainly with getting into her character was kind of just looking at the time. I think I definitely sympathise with her with just wanting to kind of use the tools and her just natural ability of just wanting to kind of, what's the word? I think I feel like she's put in a position where she felt stuck with what she can maybe do, but she had such drive and really had this drive for Hugo. And I think she has such love for Hugo. And I think it was trying to just, express the businesswoman, the entrepreneur in her, which you kind of, when you could feel quite closed off, especially now when you feel like you're literally isolated and stuck. She wanted life to be the fullest, which especially after the war, you can really sympathise with that. I'm sure she would have seen and also heard from Hugo what they all had to go through. And so, yeah, I think mainly it was just kind of unleashing her true independent woman, despite her, like, you know, she can be a mum, she can be a businesswoman. she holds the reins, I think. And I think that was what I was trying to like push through most of it.
Yeah. It's a nice touch, that particularly after Hugo mentions fairly early on about the fact that his dad was fine with the girls just looking pretty and being silent, essentially. The fact that Hugo then specifically goes for someone who is very independent and businesslike, even if that then potentially works against him. But it's it's a nice touch to have someone, actually a woman who's there going, no, this is what I want to do with my life, and actually finding a way to do everything she wants in many ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Though I did always bring my heart a little bit every time with the charcoal drawings and her kind of trying to cover up the lie as well of no, you know, he was going to burn them, because I think she understood what they meant to him, and I think it's a big weight, especially now that he passed, to carry on his reputation and to this image, and she kind of really wants to let him have a legacy because she believes so much in the work he does. And I think it's quite a heavy burden to then take that decision on of like, oh, let me get rid of these and hide these.
Yeah,
I think
something that clearly meant so much that he hid them away and didn't burn them.
Yeah.
I'm just going to burn them now.
I'm just going to burn them.
we will discuss that one further. That's the one question I'd managed to write down, was to discuss that one a bit further. And Chloe, you had two very different characters in Ruth and Sylvia. Obviously, Sylvia's only around for like the last little bit of it, but did you do anything specific for the characters?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, with Westfield, Ruth's a big fan of Westfield, so I did that whole routine of like, why can I not find anything on Google about Westfield? Even Kaisley, I text a friend who lives in Suffolk, and I was like, how do you pronounce this? Would you say Kaisley? And she's like, oh, I've never heard of it. So then, unless my research is rubbish, I don't think there's an actual place called Kaisley. I managed to find Gaisley, but not Kaisley. So it was a lot to do with imagination, but it's interesting. I don't know if this play was made for audio drama purposes, but I think it lends itself so well to it, because I saw the fishermen's cottages, I saw the sunrise, so I didn't really, once I thought about it, need that reference to go off. I could just picture it in my mind. And Ruth, she seems to know a lot about artwork, or it comes across as if she does. But it's interesting that Amy actually hits the nail on the head, I think, with a lot more stuff, especially with the whole conspiracy theory that she has. So yeah, I found that particularly interesting in what other people get from art. There's no necessarily a right or wrong thing to see from it. We all just see what we see or what we project onto it. And then it has its own history and its own story as well. Sylvia, very different. I actually really loved playing Sylvia. It was one of those where usually if this was like a stage play, I'd be happy not to see the scenes between her mum and dad earlier, so Hugo and Imogen. I'd usually just, because she wouldn't obviously know about that. But one of the great things about like reading through the audio play is I got to have that background. And I think she's definitely, I mean, it says in the script, she spent a lot of the time with her mum as opposed to Hugo, who was working. So I definitely see her as the mum she's the matriarch, she's the head of the family. There's a bit of doubt there because she loves her dad's paintings and her dad's creativity, but as soon as her mum says, no, this is it, she's just very much backing her mum.
Yeah, you very much get the feel that both girls will probably adore their father and massively respect him, but the mum wears the trousers, essentially.
Yes, I would say so.
What she says goes.
Yes.
So,
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've learned that myself.
Yeah. In response to this, the play was written for specifically for radio. Actually, it was written for Theatrephonic. I've known Barbara most of my life. Actually, I've known her all my life because she's my godmother. We were talking back and forth about the about the play and about Theatrephonic, sorry, and then she just went, oh, by the way, I've written a play, and then she went, I've written another play.
Wow.
So these are her first plays, which is what for me is most astounding. That she's managed to like do this as her second play ever.
It's amazing. I'd be interested to know how many drafts it took for her to get to this point, because I just wrote my first full-length piece over the first lockdown, and I've realised I need a whole national lockdown to actually create something, to have the time.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, wow, so impressive.
Yeah, and it's, as you said before, like the fact that she can just make you picture the paintings.
So much, yeah.
So, which is why I was absolutely adamant there must be paintings. He must be real, because I can see the images in front of my head.
Yeah.
In front of my head, oh. It's been a long year.
I love the detail of Amy and the audio guide.
Yeah. Thirsty Amy.
Yeah. Just gotta go play with the audio guide.
I think it's a fantastic moment, just the fact she's like, oh, I like him. I don't know how many of the other Theatrephonic plays you've listened to, but the Lee Arden is a specific commentary on one of the plays I wrote called Cornflakes, in which the characters are swooning over an actor, a famous actor called Lee Arden. And obviously Barbara heard that play and went, I'm going to put a reference into Lee Arden. So it's a nice bit of inception going on there, meta or whatever it's called. But yeah, I like the fact that Ruth and Amy are essentially kind of vehicles to move forward the story, but that doesn't stop them having really unique and really fun characters themselves.
Definitely.
As you can see by their depth and the fact that they get the banter as well, instead of the drama.
I love the Tate Modern gift shop as well. It's one of my favourite gift shops in London. It's probably actually going to be in the Tate, the other Tate, won't it? It won't be in the Tate Modern, or will it?
No,
it'll be in Tate Britain.
It's not on. Yeah.
Oh, shame.
And I always get confused between the two. I always want to find one and find the other.
Yeah.
And, but they're never going through them anyway, because they're great. What do you think of Imogen's actions? We've kind of lightly touched on it, but do you judge her poorly or well, or meh for how she behaved? We'll end with Jasmine, seeing as you are Imogen. Let's go with Chloe first.
Sure. So one of the things I did really like about this play is it kind of flips a lot of narratives that I've heard before. Often it's a female artist that's kind of censored, or her work has been taken, or she has to use a pseudonym, or male artists take credit for her work, that kind of thing. This was the first thing that I'd personally come across where she does censor his work. And ultimately, there's a part of me that's like, yes, that is morally reprehensible, for sure. But it's great that I can see both sides of it. As Imogen mentions in the script, or in fact even Hugo mentions the role of women usually to be invisible. You are reliant on your husband's financial support, because often women weren't allowed to work. So in that respect, I do have admiration for her, because she doesn't really have any other choice. She can sit back, or she can do something which could ultimately help her family. I don't know if she was right in the end. Did she do the right thing? Would his work be in the Tate if she hadn't stopped those early works from getting out? Because the famous works seem to be on custard creams and custard cream tins and things like that. So it seems like she did the right thing, because they're the ones that are popular and they're the ones that are selling. But unfortunately, we'll never know. It's a shame.
Yeah. Nice. Gareth?
I mean, it is a very, very fine point, isn't it? Like Chloe's saying, like obviously if these pieces of art were out early in his career, who's saying he would have had the career he had? But at Hugo's death, he was a known artist. This is the thing. So it depends on how solid his career was at that time of his death. I mean, my first reaction, having played Hugo, is the idea of like, how dare she? These are my babies. He didn't get rid of them for a reason, but conversely, he never agitated to try and get them released. Once Imogen has said, look, you need to move on to painting these sort of things, landscapes and more bucolic stuff, he didn't say, well, I want to release this at any point. I want to release this. They were locked behind the door behind the painting, did he ever really expect them to be released? But then you can say conversely that, yeah, I mean, if Westfield's now being looked at in terms of a constable or a turner, where, you know, he's getting hung in the Tate, denying, I mean, it all sounds very grand, but denying the world some of his more troubling stuff, I think, is bowdlerising history a little bit. So from an art critic point of view, you say what she's done is, yeah, like you say, it's reprehensible. It's a shit. You know, what has she done? She's trying to airbrush history. But then conversely, you have to see her position in life of her husband's legacy is tenuous. She needs to make sure that he is known. And as she said, you know, she mentions, I need the money. That's why she's selling Seek No Further. If suddenly all these things come to light, people are like, oh no, he's out of favour, then Imogen doesn't have a livelihood anymore. You know, as a middle-aged woman, a widow, how else is she going to support herself? So I think it's, as with so many things in history, it's a very grey area, and you can't outright condemn and say she's 100% right or 100% wrong. Like I say, my initial reaction was, I can't believe she did that. But on further reflection, you do see, you deal the cards you're given. You know,
and he clearly did have a lot of respect for her. I think he really, I mean, he is, as we've mentioned during the recording, he is a bit spineless, but the fact that he was willing to stand up to his own father would mean that, I'm sure if he really strongly felt about it, he would stand up to his wife.
There is an interesting little subtext as well. He talks about the New Century movement. It's like, finally I found my people. This is what we're going to do. And then, like, you know, a couple of years later, it all fizzled out, don't worry about them. But I've got something else I can pin my hat onto. And so it's the idea of this fervent youth, like, I'm going to find my tribe, and these are my people, and we're going to change the world. Oh, that tribe didn't work. These are my tribe, and these are my people. So it's that sort of rebel without a cause, almost. And then the realities of life get in the way. And you realise, well, actually, I need to provide for my family, and I need to have a semblance of quality of life.
Yeah. And Jasmine, the woman herself.
Well, I should state with a no. No, I'm joking. No, but I mean, I think Gareth hit one of my main points on the head. Like, she comes from a place of where family and providing, and like she says, one of her first lines to him after she shows him his art is that we are about to be married and we need to live on this. And I think that's a big push for her during it. And it's not like she also sees the charcoal paintings first and then pushes him to be like, okay, actually, I think you should draw these fishermen and these countryside. Like, she does see this beautiful piece of artwork that he takes pride in and is willing to gift out to the local village. And that, I think, is her inspiration. And I think also kind of we have to remember, like, the time. I think it's even after, when she's about 57, when she's talking to Sylvia and they re-see the charcoal images, I think that's still quite raw for a lot of people who lived through the war. And even Sylvia, like, as soon as she sees the images, it's like they're grotesque. Not to say that they should be burned. I think it's sadly, I would hope that she maybe hold on to them as well in the same wooden case, and then just maybe they're like left to will to someone who's going to then open them up and send away. Because I think as an artist, everyone should see the full picture. But as someone who is thinking of her livelihood, and you know, and her family, because she probably still has to provide or care for, put a house under for her children as well at this point. She has to be quite practical, and that means making some hard decisions. I'm sure she would love to be born now and have him be free and and be seen for all the sides that he had to offer. But I think it just, for that then, I just don't think it was possible, and I think she just had to kind of make that hard choice, really.
Yeah, well put.
What do you think, Emmeline?
What do I? Oh God!
Put you on the spot.
Yeah, thanks. Normally I ask the questions. I don't have to answer them. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
End of recording.
So yeah, I don't think she should have burned them. I can understand why she, again, as you've all said, I can understand why she made the decision she did, and it's quite possible that he wouldn't have achieved such success if he'd gone on with the darker paintings. But half their shock was just because they didn't realise it was like that, because obviously the war was kept very much away from the people at home, and I think there's a sense of I don't want to see it, what the war was actually like, so I don't have to think about it, which I think is very sad. I very much feel like she shouldn't have burned them at the end, or she shouldn't burn them because we don't know if she actually does. She should keep them for kind of maybe a later date. Because, I mean, she could make more money. If she's thinking about the money, she could wait until the money from selling the other paintings runs out and then sell them on going, look what we just found! And actually make more money, and it'll be a shocking revelation. But
there is a telling point, though, Emmeline, in the fact that when Amy and Ruth are going through the art gallery, there is a gap between 14 and 19.
that's true, you're right. Oh,
So they might be still
damn
in,
you for ruining my thoughts.
they might be in a suitcase still somewhere, but they're not in general circulation.
Yeah. So I suspect she did burn them. I think I did think about that and then completely forgot. But yeah, good point. Yeah, you've ruined everything. But yeah, so it's sad, but I can see why it happened.
I would love it if there was an epilogue, though. Get Godmother Babs to write an epilogue of someone moving in a house, finding this wall.
Let me tell her you called her Godmother Babs.
Yeah.
Just tell her, dear Godmother Babs, I am sad the paintings aren't there. Write more, please. Thank you.
Write more and put the paintings in.
Yes, please.
Kisses.
Discovered at a later date.
I want her now to actually paint the paintings.
Yes.
Because I'm assuming that she can now paint the paintings because I want to know what they look like.
Yeah.
Obviously not the scary ones because they're scary, but I really want to see Seek No Further.
I want to see the cottages. That's the one that was really evocative for me.
That would be really
Same.
nice. Before I wrap this up, unless any of you have questions or points you want to make about the play.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Oh my God, so deep.
I mean, you can't beat that poetry, can you? What Jasmine said.
You do. I think that should just be like a 5-star review. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Done.
But it is a testament to how great the script was, because I'm not a massive art lover, but one of the things I really want to do once this lockdown lifts, I'd love to walk around an art gallery now and just, it's really on my mind. So there you go, Barbara Babs. You've got me in a art gallery.
Yeah. So the question I have before we go on to the promoting yourself section, it comes from our patron Lydia, and she has asked if you guys had, or if you ladies had a superpower, what would you want that superpower to be?
Ooh, that is a good question. I've thought about this a lot, surprisingly. It's changed over the years, because it always used to be I wanted to fly. That was my massive one. And then it went through a stage of wanting to heal. I thought, oh, how amazing would that be if you could just heal someone? If someone you loved was in pain and you could remove that pain and heal them, I thought, oh God, that'd be amazing. But then, do you heal everyone? And, what can you do?
Some people you don't like, you're like, just a bit.
And morally, I have to heal you, but you're a pain in the ass. Yeah.
Exactly. I think now I would probably like the superpower of invisibility. And I would especially in COVID, I'd wear my mask, but I'd be invisible, and I'd love to just go around and see what's happening and what I'm missing. I have great fear of missing out, so I think invisibility would be a good one for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Jasmine?
Oh, I've also thought about this, but I don't know if this is kind of cheating and a bit of a 2-in-1. Because there was... back in the day, I used to watch this anime called Naruto, and basically you could go into clones. Like, he would clone himself. Because I like the idea of there being many of me that could just kind of get on with different tasks. And, one could be doing the laundry, the other one could be practicing something else and doing the exercise. And then suddenly they poof, and I've got all the knowledge and exercise and fitness, like, kind of bounces back into me. And I could just be sitting on the sofa catching up a TV. I think that would just that would be a dream.
But
if one of them could be invisible as well, I mean, that would be even better. Like,
cool.
You could have one running outside like you with yours, Chloe, and just be like going for jogs, and no one will know.
There are a couple of superheroes, at least, though annoyingly neither of their names are coming to mind, who do have the power to cloak, like they just split off and divide themselves off. Some of them, they're just invisible and like you can't touch them or anything. There's another one that every time they can only clone themselves 6 times, and each time their clone gets killed, they're dead forever. So then she has less and less clones. But yeah, that would be quite a cool one.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to find out the poor catcher for it. How many?
Yeah.
Oh no!
If you can make up your own superpower, then you can make it that you can clone yourself however you want. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Gareth?
I would use my superpowers to make Hugo Westfield real. Damn it! So I could go to his gallery and look at all his artwork. But no, similar to Chloe, I think it's like, for me, I've always been fascinated by the idea of flight. I like even the idea of not even just like soaring 35,000 feet in the air. Just get me a few feet off the ground. I can just whiz around a bit. I'm not greedy.
You're
like a
bumping into
hoverboard.
everyone's knees.
Yeah, I just want to hover. Or loom. I just want to loom in photographs. People take a little selfie and I just loom above them, like 4 feet above them. Marvellous.
Wait, how tall are you?
I'm 5'10". Well, 5. Yeah,
So you're tall
5.
enough as it is, so you'll just be like...
I just want to loom. You just
want to loom.
maybe with that sound as well.
So
I only
every
want to
photograph-
use my superpowers to annoy. I don't want to be a super villain. I just want to be like annoying,
Fair enough.
a pest. Marvellous.
You can be an annoying man, it'd be great.
That's it. The fiddler.
Or the annoying loomer.
Yeah.
I think the loomer could work. Yes, tell us about any things you'd like to promote and give us your handles so people can follow you on social media if they so wish. Let's start again with Chloe.
Perfect. Okay. Yes, I have a monologue series that I'm an actor for, which is a 4-part monologue series. Same writer called Chris Reynolds, and it's Off Your Trolley Productions, and it's going to be on YouTube. They've got their own channel. First video is released on Sunday the 24th of January. I'm doing the 4th monologue in this series, so hopefully mine will be out by the time this airs, which would be great, but also it's going to be on for a long period of time as well. And one I'd really like to promote, a short film I recently did, is called The Fall. It's directed by Robert Bathurst, and it's written by Nathan Horrocks. It's based around a jockey, and it's all about male suicide, and it deals a lot about mental health, something that I wasn't aware of in that industry, but as it's written by a former jockey, and he just details the kind of trolling that he would get over social media. And I recently just read an article about a young female jockey that went through the same thing, or is still going through the same thing. So I think it's a really valuable thing. It should hopefully be released in the next few months. It's a short film. It's going to be on the BBC, and then I will be promoting it on my Twitter as well. My handle is @YorkshireWade. Yorkshire Wade. W-A-D-E.
Said in the most Yorkshire way ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the great ad of Yorkshire.
Mother. Thank you.
Excellent. And if you can send me links to them as well, I will put the links in the show notes for this episode.
Oh,
which saves
thank
people
you. I
having
will do.
to bother trying to spell things, because that's way too much effort.
Sure, thank you.
Jasmine.
Yes. Well, if you, let's try that again. Well, you can just find me on Twitter really at the moment, which is Raymond, or on Instagram, which is J_Ray_Raymond. So hopefully Shape and Dust should be performing later in the year, hopefully in Malta, but that's all still like in the air, so we'll see. But if that's, I'll make sure I'll do another chip in and let you guys know. But yeah, follow my Twitter for that.
Yeah, as soon as you get that confirmed, as soon as you get confirmed, then yeah, do send it across, and we can like do all the retweets and all that shiz.
Fabs.
Just like that. I mean, hopefully you'd be in another play by then, but we'll see.
Yeah.
One would hope. And Gareth.
So as I was mentioning earlier on, I am soon to be appearing in a Netflix show in a few episodes. Depending on when this airs, I think we're safe to say, but I'm going to be in the upcoming Shadow and Bone fantasy series, which was great fun. Really good books, by the way. I 100% recommend read the books. It's a series by Lee Bardugo. And I play a character called Felix in that, and I cannot wait for everyone to see it. I got to ride a horse. It's great.
That's so cool.
Oh, man.
Secondly, also, you should look up, if you want more stuff that you can look at while in isolation, The Show Must Go Online by Rob Miles and Sarah Peachy is just the most incredible. They did the entire works of Shakespeare as Zoom plays. And I was lucky enough to be in Measure for Measure and King Lear and Cymbeline with them. And it's just a marvellous, marvellous way to see how they progressed from early on when it was just, like, right, let's all stick cameras together, to what they were able to do towards the end. It's magnificent. And I cannot recommend it highly enough. All on YouTube. The Show Must Go Online. Check it out if you like your Shakespeare. It's brilliant.
Excellent. I do like my Shakespeare, so I'll definitely be checking that one out. Thank you so much to Chloe, Jasmine and Gareth for taking part in the Q&A. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you
so much.
Bye.